Hello guys, this is Pedram Raufi and you are watching the markets review. During this program we are going to go through different type of news which we have for today, and you are going to see what is going on with the market, with the stock markets, and with the Forex market as well. And of course at the end we are going to look through the most important cryptocurrency assets like Bitcoin and Ethereum as well. So don't forget to watch this video till the end. We are going to actually see what we can do for day trading during the day, what kind of price potential we have during the day. We are going to actually check all of these factors, all the technical factors on the charts of MetaTrader. We are going to start from the situation which is nowadays actually continuing on the stock market. As you know, we are also scared about the high inflation and the Federal Reserve System interest rates hiking in the future. But all of these factors are really long-term, have a long-term impact. I mean, all of them are kind of, we can actually wait for their impact within some months. And the stock market, he'll feel himself not so bad. There was a very interesting news about the Chinese giant of the real estate market, Evergrande, which have been bankrupted. And as we see, they are helping them. And one of the very biggest companies in China have bought a really big amount of the stock of shares of this company. So it's really early to talk about the crisis coming. What happened in the next week, what happened yesterday, what we have nowadays on the markets, we are going to go through them now, today, and we are going to start it from the one of the interesting news which was related to Facebook. We actually received it yesterday, about the whistleblower, one of the previous managers of Facebook, which said that it's really sad to say, but Facebook, it's kind of using the data to kind of make a big control, or take the market into his own monopoly and the other things. That's a factors how the monopolists work. I mean, Facebook is a monopoly, and many of the other IT companies are as well monopolies, and they are going to get hurt by taxes in the future, not in the near future, but in the future maybe. But the yesterday's factor, when it came out, it was really visible on the chart of Facebook stock shares. As we saw, we were somewhere here, and after this news, after the American session started, we saw the downward movement, impulsive downward movement, which actually we could really kind of guess about it. We could really kind of guess about it because there was a bad news about the whistleblower, and then next the Facebook and the Instagram just stopped work in all over the world about 6 hours. And of course, Mark Zuckerberg losses about $7 billion, which is maybe a big amount of money for him, but we actually need to focus on the fact that that was an insider job. That was an insider job. The DNS servers, they just stopped working from inside of the company after the whistleblower. Very interesting. It can be really related, as you know. And as you know, Facebook is really connected to the government of the United States. Government is really connected to all of these things. So we really do not have to be scared about Facebook, and I think that despite this news, Facebook can really continue the rising movement in the future. So this movement, this impulsive movement, was a really good opportunity to just use it and return back to the market. For example, we can actually choose the middle of this impulse, about $300. $300, 3 and 20. 320, 300 is a really great range to return to buys. I mean, return to the bullish mood after the retest of this range. The prices can actually reverse before retesting this range. Pay attention on that, on this factor as well. So we are waiting for a reverse. Here on a daily chart and in a 4-hour chart, we have a reversal from the due to the RSI oscillator. We have a reversal signal actually. We have a kind of convergence, which is getting very stronger. So about Facebook, I'm not really pessimistic. I cannot be pessimistic because if we actually return to one of the important news backgrounds, which have been released yesterday as well, it was the Tom Lee's predictions. He's a really good analyst actually. Runaway inflation isn't concerned, and mega cap tech can power stocks higher despite rising interest rates. So it means that despite the Federal Reserve interest rates hiking in the near future, I mean near future is months, it's 2 months, it's 3 months. Despite this fact, the markets can continue the upward movement because and only because of the earning of the giant IT companies, of the Silicon Valley companies. So here is a really good news. Next news, which have been released yesterday as well, and it could have a long-term impact on the markets, is that Goldman Sachs picked some Chinese cheap stocks to buy because of the rivalry between United States and China's economy, and China's microchip factor producers is getting tighter and tighter. So this factor can really make the microchip industry or a semiconductor industry to get more pricier. We actually choose some of these stocks of these producers, semiconductor producers, for example, Chinese semiconductor producers. Semiconductor Manufacturing International Corp Hong Kong, Xi'an Longyi Silicon Materials Corp China, Jiangsu Qingjing. It's very hard. I like Chinese, I like Japanese, but I can't read it. Electronics Technology Co Ltd and Wheel Semiconductor Co Ltd Shanghai. As you see here, due to the technical formation of the candles in the daily chart, we have a real great situation of a reversal. We are getting really so near to the local and historical supports here, and actually due to all of them we are near to the support. Some of them even already reversed from this support, but we have a real reversal, long-term reversal signal here, which could really continue. And due to this picture in the long term, maybe here now it would be not a bad situation to actually start to buy some of Chinese semiconductor producers shares. And the economic calendar of today, it's a little bit rich, and I think that we can pay some attention on it. We've already had, for today, we've already had the Australian releases, the Australian economic releases, which have been released already, and most of them were positive. But what we are waiting for within 25 minutes, Great Britain, composite PMI and service PMI. These two releases are really important for pound, but the predictions are negative. I think that maybe the actual releases would be higher because Britain is not going to close the country because of the quarantine or even go through the lockdown again. It's not going to do that because of the vaccination progress. That's only my predictions. About the United States dollar, ISM, non-manufacturing PMI, which is kind of negative, and the releases, economic releases from United States from this quarter, they could be really negative. They could be really negative, but not that negative, but they could be partially negative. They would actually may have an impact on the stock market, but mostly the most important releases is the job market releases for United States dollar and for inflation, on which you have to pay attention. The other releases nowadays, they're kind of 50-50. European Central Bank President Lagarde speaks at 15 p.m. By Greenwich time, and that's all with what we have for today. Actually, let's go through the United States dollar and the United States 10 years yield, which have been fall down previously, and they're kind of getting strengthened above 1.45, 1.46. That could be a good news for the United States dollar, but let's look through the United States dollar. Here we can actually see the retest of the local maximums, retest of the historical maximums. On the weekly chart, here we're near to the price movement. We have a maximum 95 and 94.50. Now we're about 94. So 94.50, 95, they could be a really good targets for future before we get under 93.50. If we get under 93.50 or 93, that won't be a really good signal for buyers. That won't be a really good signal for dollar bulls. So if the 93.50, 93 gets retested in the future with one impulsive candle or with one paranormal bar, it would be a really good signal for next upward movement, for next moderate upward movement of dollar index. But we really have to wait for the retest of 93.50, 93. If this range gets retested impulsively, that would be a good signal of next reversal upward. But before that, we cannot really be so sure about the continuation of the dollar prices to new maximums. What is going on with the stock markets? And as you know, they have an opposite correlation with the dollar prices because of the inflation. And the stock market, they have been reversed. S&P 500 have been reversed from the new minimum, and this new minimum is really located near to the local mirror level, which is 4,200, 4,300, about 4,250, let's say. 4,250, that's a really good mirror level from which prices, if reversed, it would be a really good signal. But here on the daily chart, we have a kind of pushing. To this local minimum. In the other way, maybe the potential of next downward movement, downward impulsive movement would be really high, but would really exist. But in the other way, we could really get reversed from after the next impulsive downward movement as well. So you have to be careful. For now, for today, for intraday, I can actually say that we are getting reversed due to the 15-hour chart. We are getting reversed from new minimum, and this movement could really continue to 4,350 4,350 or 4,320. But after that, we could get reversed again and we could continue to push downward. But here, I can see actually consolidation. Here's a very long consolidation, which could really cause an impulsive impulse, cause an upward impulse as well as downward impulse. But in the midterm future, we have to really wait for the next downward impulse. Next downward impulse, it could be a really impulsive movement of a one candle, which could retest the 4,200, 4,250, and after that, it could make the prices to maybe start the moderate upward movement. As we know, Dow Jones is downward. The general trend for Dow Jones S&P 500 is downward. But for today, for day trading, maybe here now we have some situation. We have a potential of next upward impulse. I mean, during the day, during next few hours, 3,400 could get retested in the near future. Euro dollar, pound dollar, Australian dollar to United States dollar, and New Zealand dollar to United States dollar as well. Actually, New Zealand and Australian dollar have been made the impulsive movement already. So for the next rise of these two pairs, I'm not really sure about New Zealand dollar and Australian dollar. But about euro and about pound, the upward movement could continue. Upward movement could continue, but we are really in the situation of reversal downward here. For pound and for euro, we could have a real reversal during the day. Upward impulse and then the continuation of the downward movement. About gold and commodity, as you know, the gold prices, silver prices, and platinum. Gold prices, silver prices, and platinum prices are the risk assets, which the movement, and because of that, the movement of the price action is really related to the risk factor on the markets. As you know, risk factor on the markets previously get really high, have got higher and higher, and because of that, gold kind of made impulsive uprising movement. But now we just really need to see what would gold do next. There's a really good impulse, downward impulse, to retest a really great range, support range of 1,750, 1,760. But after the retest of this range, we can say gold maybe can continue the moderate uprising movement. We have to wait for the next retest actually, but here I think that we could really have the strengthening of the prices above 1,760, 1,750, and next we could see the next upward movement. For silver as well, we have a strengthening above a really good support, 960. And if we won't get in the near future under 950, 960, in this case, we could really continue the moderate rising. If this range get impulsively retested, impulsively means by one candle, very fast in time. It could get retested very impulsively, but if it gets retested in the future impulsively, it would be a really good sign for next uprising movement as well. So be careful with that. And about euro to franc, we have really great accumulation of the price, which could cause a next upward movement. 1.076, 1.076, let's say, and 77 would be a really the nearest targets which could get retested in the near future. Here we have a really good accumulation of the price, and this really could depend on dollar's next movement. If dollar in the near future get higher and impulsively rise, it would be a really good signal for euro as well, actually, but for mostly for dollar franc and for dollar yen. For euro to franc, we need to actually wait for the euro's upward impulse. Because of dollar rising nowadays, the euro's upward impulse is under question, but it could really happen. Accumulation here is really exists, but we actually have to pay attention on this, on the nearest resistance of 1.075, which have been retested many times. And if in the near future we get some downward impulses with a paranormal candle downward, it could be a signal of moderate next upward movement. But if we get pushed to the downside of this channel, that won't be a really good signal. United States dollar to franc, it's moving inside the downward channel, and in the near future it could really, because of this accumulation, it could really get retest. It could really retest 0.9270, 0.9275, for example. But after that, it could start a downward movement in the future. Do we have any levels here historically? Yeah, we have a mirror level, 0.9260, 0.9250. Let's say if we won't get under these two levels, under this range, 9260, 9250, before we get under this range, the scenario would be bullish. But if we get under this range, and if we get strengthened under this, if we get stuck under this range, it would be a bad signal for bulls. It would be a really good signal for bears. United States dollar to Japanese yen, it's consolidating, and the accumulation here is not really right. It's more look like a widening formation, a widening of the volatility. It's not accumulation. It's mostly means that prices could make a really wild movements upward and downward, and you won't be able to trade. So let's wait for the retest of 111, and after that we can say what would happen if this level gets retested impulsively, like here, it would be a good signal of next upward movement. Until we are above this level, the scenario could be bullish. Oil prices, as you see, continue to rise because of some horror factors which exist on markets. And as you know, OPEC is trying to increase the oil reserves, and by this factor they're trying to control this rising of oil prices. But oil prices could really rise in the near future because of this technical accumulation and because of the United States and Iran nuclear contract, which is not really proved previously. So oil prices have really accumulated here. The energy exists, but I think that maybe next impulsive rise to $78, $78.40 could make the prices to go down. So we are waiting for an impulsive rise in the near future, but after that we could get a moderate downward movement or the consolidation. So be careful now. I mean really in this minute, in this moment, we are kind of waiting for impulsive rise of the prices. If something like that happened, dollar prices could really increase. Euro, pound, Australian dollar, and New Zealand dollar could continue to rise. Stock prices could continue to rise, but dollar could really reverse, could really continue the downward movement, or just get stuck in the midterm, daily, intraday channel, horizontal channel. If something like that happened, the prices of United States dollar to Canadian dollar could get more dumped and could really retest 1.25, 1.25, 30. So we have some signals about this all things as well. Bitcoin prices and Ethereum prices from last time when we talked about them, it's retest 43,000, 40,000 range, and after that, of course, it reversed back. The impulsive movement is really scary. The shrinking of the volatility is really scary. So because of these factors, maybe the next impulse could be really speculative, and after the next impulse, we could get reversed backwards. So this shrinking is really scary. Technically, it's really scary for bulls. For Ethereum, for Bitcoin, I'm sorry, 50,000 is really now get retested already. So these closings here of the daily candles and 4-hour candles, that's not a really good signal of the Bitcoin's next movement. So it could be a reversal maybe in the near future. For Ethereum as well, we could get a rising impulse, but I'm not really sure about it. About rising impulse. Maybe we are waiting for reversal downward. Thank you guys for watching this video. I wish that you liked it. If you liked it, don't forget to like it physically under the video. And don't forget to leave your comments under the video and your questions as well. Don't forget to subscribe on the channel and ring the bell so you would know when to wait for our new programs. And I wish you good trades. Till next time, guys, have good trades. Bye-bye.